All right, guys, welcome back to another student interview. Today we have our student Imri. He has done a whopping $500,000 in GMV. 500,000, all bottom of funnel, middle funnel type style content. Yeah, before we get right into this, guys, make sure to drop us a follow and make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're always dropping tons and tons of sauce here at Creator Haven. And yeah, before we break into things, Imri, tell me a little bit about yourself, kind of your journey, how you got started, all that sort of stuff.
So it was 2023, the first time I ever touched TikTok Shop. That's when I really was like trying to look for someone, but I couldn't find no one. So I was experimenting. I did get banned and I was working a regular job. And I came back on the goalie era. I figured out lives and then I couldn't figure out videos. So I just trying to figure out by myself. And then I ran into Bruce and Caden. So that's when it all really changed for the videos, especially bottom of funnel, because I was really into helping people save money when they buy stuff on TikTok. So that's the videos I used to make. So that's bottom of funnel, like correlates with how you guys are doing. And that's how I figured out and really up my success on TikTok Shop.
Yeah, and you mentioned to me prior that you were doing TikTok Shop way back when, like towards the beginning of TikTok Shop era. So you kind of saw the whole pre GMV Max, organic algorithm where you could go viral with, just the simplest products. So, yeah. And then tell us about, you mentioned to me earlier how, you had a little bit of success early on, then you had some account bans and you kind of got right back into that. Tell us a little bit about that a little bit.
So the first time I was doing TikTok Shop, I was posting, making videos. I did do a lot of like gym equipment videos, like the push-up board, the ab roller. That's when I found pretty good success. I uploaded a second video, 7 seconds, just holding up the product, and like this is on discount for Black Friday. I made $300 in like a day. But then I couldn't really figure it out no more after that. I got banned probably from like a hashtag or something. So I didn't know that you can get more accounts. That's why I stopped. So after that, that's when I came back.
Yeah. And when you came back, was it like kind of a different algorithm than what you were kind of used to? Or was it, I guess you did come back though, because you came back, what, September 2024 ish, around then, correct?
Yeah, the goalie era with the live streams. I was actually doing live only bottom of funnel.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy, and yeah, you were still in there in the early days pre GMB Max, which is pretty crazy. So, what was kind of that exact moment that you knew, like, okay, like this is something I can actually start to take, seriously, and kind of what was that sort of breakthrough moment where you started to realize, okay, this is actually legit money. Let me like kind of double down on this.
I realized it when I kept on doing like testing and failures, see what works and what doesn't, easier and easier. So that's probably where I end up now.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that's huge. And, what did your income kind of look like, prior to TikTok Shop? Like, what were you kind of doing? Give me all that.
I was just doing some cook job. I did some Amazon too back then when I was trying to do it. It was kind of like probably 2K a month, 3K a month, and I can hit an upwards of 10K to 15K right now, but it's steadily growing. But it's getting a little bit harder to figure out the top parts.
Yeah, of course. And like you said, being able to kind of consistently see those numbers of, 10 to 15K plus a month just because of the systems we implement into your content. Compare that to Amazon FBA where you're in control of, the products. Like we have people all the time that come from drop shipping. Amazon FBA, they come from other business models where they're the one shipping out the product. Whereas this style of content, this style of a business, you're just the middleman and you're kind of just making the videos. And if you pump out a certain amount of volume each day, like you mentioned to me prior, you're posting 50 videos a day per account that you run. At that much volume, you're almost ensuring that, you're making sales on videos. And like you say all the time, if you're just targeting $70 a day on each account, you can easily hit those $10,000 plus months pretty consistently and actually pretty easily, which is, pretty great. So I guess, it kind of transitions into my next question of, what was kind of your biggest, mental shift you had to make, coming from Amazon FBA or coming from one of these other business models to TikTok Shop?
So it's more so like there's a dedicated system already. Just have to follow it and just trust in it. That way you don't have to fall back on different things. You don't have to get in trouble with violations and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, 100%. And, a lot of people don't realize that there's a lot more that goes into these shop videos than just, pick up the product and say it's on sale, right? There's a million things you can get violated for, which kind of leads into my next point of, what do you think is like the hardest part for a beginner with TikTok Shop, right when they start out? Like, what is something that a lot of affiliates don't really understand too much? Like, what do you think?
I think realizing it's more about risk than the reward you get out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if you promote, like I promoted a nail gun,
Hmm.
wasn't even like, but they flagged the account for, what was it, the like controlled items or whatever, regulated goods,
Hmm.
and then I couldn't even access my page, but it was still on TikTok. Like you can promote it and other people do it. That's what you have to watch out for, things like that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's those little things that a lot of people don't realize. Like community guidelines and shop are two separate sectors of TikTok. So working with an agency where they can tell you if that's an okay product to promote or not, I think is always key and stuff along those lines. And kind of leads to my next point of obviously you were doing TikTok shop, you saw a little bit of success. Then we came around sometime around August. How did you kind of run into Kaden and myself at Creator Haven?
So I used to see you guys' videos back then
Mm-hmm.
when I was doing like the bottom of the funnel live streams with Goalie, and then I was trying to figure out my own way to make it into like discount videos.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when I found you guys with the coaching videos, like how to do this, if you're not doing this and this properly. So that's when I realized they're gonna start something, a whole group,
Mm-hmm.
and then this could be a big opportunity, and it was.
Yeah, yeah. And
So I kind
prior,
of, yeah.
yeah, prior to coming to us, like what were your beliefs on bottom of funnel? Like how did you kind of operate? What systems did you have? Kind of break that down.
Yeah, so I actually used to take a lot longer to film.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one thing. And I didn't know how much videos exactly how to post. So I was clueless on how much to post, what to post, when to post, and things like that. Like the system wasn't there. It was like, and I wasn't really studying.
Yeah, and I think that's huge. A lot of affiliates they're just throwing stuff at a blank wall, and you could get lucky on a couple of videos, sure. And certain strategies. Obviously, if you're pumping out a certain amount of videos every single day, you're going to see success. But I think, like you said, the big thing is having those systems in place to be able to consistently know what time to show up. Because that's the thing about being an entrepreneur. There's nobody knocking on your door saying it's time to get up, it's time to do this, it's time to do that. You're in charge of your own schedule. So kind of having that little base where we say, okay, this is what you have to follow. You follow this down to T, do it on your own time, but follow this exact framework and you'll be able to kind of scale to that next level. So I guess prior to coming to us, what was your systems looking like? Like, what were you what were your numbers looking like? And what were your systems looking like?
So realistically, I was working a lot with the wage job. I was taking up 35 hours, and then I would try to work out, stay healthy. That takes up a lot of hours in the week as well.
Mm-hmm.
So really, I was setting time for a shop because I was doing lives and videos,
Mm-hmm.
probably like 15 hours a week, but I was generating almost as much as the wage job with that amount.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I knew if I could leave, then that generation will multiply, and it did. So the system was really like just make as much videos as I can, up to 20, and I only had 2 accounts doing it. So that was the early days of me doing bottom of funnel.
Yeah, and like you said at the beginning, you probably you didn't really realize you could just get more accounts, and you probably weren't in the mindset of let me get to 5 to 7 accounts. Back then, you're probably thinking let me just maximize on 2. What are your thoughts on maximizing going up to 5 to 7 accounts? How do you feel about since you've done it now? Like, what would you tell somebody that's sitting there thinking, oh, I need to have all my focus on 2 accounts? What would you tell that person?
Okay, so make sure to diversify. You never know if you can get banned on one account.
Yeah.
Just like you say too about that, like never have eggs in one basket.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're gonna have 5 to 7, make sure you can handle the workload, because it's not an easy workload.
Yeah. And a lot of people
50 on 5 accounts.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's almost what 250 videos a day you're pushing out right now. I mean, that's a lot of videos. It sounds a lot easier said than done, but when you break it down, even if you're doing 15 seconds, boom, 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 250 times 0.15, you're still potentially looking at 2-3 hours of work, and that's if you're going. So I mean, that volume, it definitely takes a lot. Takes somebody that's super, super dedicated. So in terms of dedication, motivation, obviously you're very self-driven, right? I assume very self-driven, very self-motivated. What would you tell that person that thinks that this is something you can just walk in, film 30 minutes a day and see success with it?
Very little, not impossible. You never know. Depends on product and how many people doing it and what you say.
Mm-hmm.
So, more chances, better with more opportunity, more darts you throw at the wall to hit the bullseye. The
Yeah.
more chances of that, the more times you're going to hit bullseye.
Yeah, that's
So
100%. What
think
I
about
always
it
like
like
to
that.
say is like if lottery tickets were free, you would take a million of them, right?
Mhm.
Every single video is a lottery ticket. You never truly know which one is going to be that one video. And like you and I have both seen, even on your accounts, sometimes it's the most random videos. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. You're posting the video. You're like, I don't want to post it. You wake up a week later. That's the video's taken off for you. So sometimes it's just like you just got to put in your inputs, focus on those inputs, and really make sure that you're actually getting those videos out. But yeah, in terms of those systems and stuff, how long do you think it took to really start to see that snowball effect? Obviously, you came to us August. You're already seeing a little bit of traction, but how long would you say it took
Yeah.
to actually really start to see that snowball effect play into hand and kind of benefit you long term?
With the Creator Haven systems, it took 3 months. So I noticed on Black Friday, most of the videos that generated me money was videos I posted 1 to 2 months back.
Yep.
So really, you have to think about it. What I'm doing now is going to show up like May, June, July.
Yeah, and I think it goes
So it
back.
just takes time.
Yeah, I think it goes straight back to what I said, a couple minutes ago of a lot of people think this is quick money, right? That you can just walk in the door. Sure, like you said, you can get lucky. In some cases, sometimes it could be the 10th video that you filmed that makes you all your money, and it could be the only money you make. But like you said, becoming process-based, looking at it as this long-term vision. What I like to say is never look at TikTok Shop as a day-to-day operation. Look at it as a month to 1 to 2 month operation. Just because, obviously different quarters, there's gonna be different ad spend. There's gonna be different ad budgets depending on the month, depending on the season. And we do work with seasonal products, as you know. So for example, those higher ticket items that we're selling in December, November, they're not gonna be selling right now. So that's why we really like to, focus just strictly on inputs and realize that, just because something's not selling today doesn't mean that you can't wake up 2 months down the line, like you said, and see a lot of money from it. And I think that's the absolute beauty of implementing our systems into any affiliate, really, especially you. Like you said, you saw it for 3 months or 3 months later, but since then, it's been fairly consistent for you. You would say, correct?
Yeah, it's been probably way better than last year.
Yeah,
to be honest.
No, 100%. And especially since we got you up to, you're running 5 accounts, 6 accounts now.
5 accounts.
Yeah, 5 accounts. Yeah, and you're doing 250 videos a day. I mean, this is like guys. This is exactly what we look for. Input driven. Just solely focused on showing up every single day. And then obviously you do your own product research as well too. So you're not only implementing products we give you, but what we like about you the most, or one of the greatest factors you have, is that you're self-driven in the fact that you're just using our methods across products that you have, which is also huge for finding success on TikTok Shop. A lot of people think, only certain methods are going to work across certain products. Not true at all. Obviously we know you can literally sell damn near anything. Scott is out here selling $2,000 Jim Smith machines with a 7-second Snapchat video. So I think that's one of the greatest things I learned from you, just coaching you and seeing how you perform, is seeing how you just took your own products, used our methods, our strategies, and were able to just implement them and make really consistent income. Like Peak Revival, that wasn't a company that we were too big into before you came to us, and you've kind of blown up with them with their bundle packs. And shout out to them, by the way, but they run a lot of GMV Max, and you just use those strategies across it and blew up with their bundle packs. So that's something that really showed me like, okay, like our systems, our operations, if we just rinse these across whatever niche somebody's in, it doesn't matter if you're health, beauty, automotives, it could be anything, home furniture, like it'll work and it'll actually really, really convert. So now obviously, you're running 5 accounts. What does your day-to-day, operations kind of look like?
So I start off, wake up, some breakfast, pray a little bit, and then I get into the products. So what products am I doing today? What's selling for me? What do I look for? What's selling daily across multiple accounts or maybe on one account? So I look for consistent products, something I can rely on, and I test as well. So I like to keep it 33%, 33%, 33% winners, test, and then the mid, give it another second chance, kind of thing, and then see what works, views, and then on top of that, film that can take up to 3 hours. And then from there, I'm going to work out. I'm going to edit my videos while I work out. And then I just do some walking, 20 minutes, edit, post throughout the day. And then I come back to lunch and then finish posting or make even more videos if I have time. And then the evening is the product research and scripts. So just setting up the operations part of it. so I could
Yeah.
perform the next day.
So in terms, dude, that's great. And in terms of like scripts, are you kind of just breaking them down, going through ChatGPT, rinsing and repeating your winning scripts, and kind of just creating more of them?
Mhm.
Dude, that's smart, real smart. Obviously, that's key, right? Because obviously, if your hook's not good, like you can A and B test your hooks, your products, like you said. So in terms of a winning product, how many times a day would you say you post your winning products?
Mm, Probably never more than 10
10
if it's
times a
going to
day?
be one
Okay.
account,
Yeah, I mean yeah.
because the winning products, they're separated throughout the days. But if I notice, like, if it's just too much, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to risk, violation or same videos across accounts, because that can be a problem too.
Yeah. And then obviously, prior to coming to us, I'm going to pivot a little bit. Or actually, while you were with us, when we're scaling you up to accounts, one of your biggest struggles was treating every account the same. Obviously, we came in, you fixed that, but kind of tell us about how you kind of overcame that mentally a little bit.
Yeah, I thought it was the cursed account.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I just kept listening to you guys. I ignore what I think. That way I can keep going. And yeah, so treat every account the same because you never know what one video can do on the dead account.
No, yeah, 100%. And I think, you can treat every account, even just 99% the same, 95% the same, and not treat it like it's just a random account. That's where you'll really start to see that breakthrough and really start to see the success with that account. So, I mean, yeah. So, in terms of product research, what are you kind of looking for in a winning product in terms of like, how are
Mhm.
you picking that product, a free sample or refundable sample it?
Well, I go on Cal Data. I know Cal Data is not super accurate, but I still do my research inside that research
Mm-hmm.
to double check. I look for creator competition. I look to see if the commission's good, especially on the ad rate, because it can say 30%, but then you see the ad and it says 1%. I'm like, oh no, I'm not doing that. So look for a product that probably high in price. If they have bundles, yes, you can push that too, but don't expect to make everything from that.
Mm-hmm.
And then to look for the testers, yeah, so it's product, low in competition, mid to high price, great commission, and then that's why I test those products from the product research that I grab it from.
Yeah, no, that's really really good, and obviously, we did show you that other way as well, just scrolling the for you page too as well, until you come up
Yeah,
to that winning product, and then even just like going through tab campaigns, all that sort of stuff, trending
and
product
that's
lists.
it.
But
Yeah,
yeah, going out on your own, like once again, goes back to that point of you're self driven, you're going out on your own, finding these products as well. Using resources like Calo Data are great. Like you said, they're not always the most accurate, but sometimes that's all it takes to find that winning product. So kind of pivoting back to what we said earlier, what were some, mistakes that you kind of had to fix early on to make sure that you weren't, messing up later on? Like what were some of those mistakes?
okay, that's gonna be videos because
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of like the 2 for 1 and the buy one get ones that I used
Yep.
to do.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I didn't know that it was bad, but I was replicating what other people were
Yeah,
doing.
winning style. Yeah.
So that was one thing that I didn't know that I did do wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So just friends only those videos, and then other mistakes too. Just making sure I'm consistent. I don't do promote anything that race violation. I don't see anything that can do that either. So it's just being more on the safe side.
Yeah, I know, and I
That
think
was my
that's a huge
mistake.
thing. Yeah, and that's what we're really big on at Creator Haven is really making sure that you guys have your accounts for 6 to 12 months, or if not actually longer than that. But like, we don't want your account to just be banned a month or two down the road, right? We want systems that are going to work, that are going to have longevity with them. That way, when you're posting these videos, they can actually recirculate during the massive campaigns because that's our overall goal, right? Our overall goal is to have you guys really making a ton of money during Q4, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, to where you can wake up and be at like a couple $1,000 in the morning, which I think is like the most beautiful feeling in the entire world. When you see that built up snowball effect for 10 months out of the year, and then you finally wake up. It's like Christmas morning as a kid when you open your phone to the shops and you're like, whoa. And you're like, wow, this is what 10, 11 months of, putting in inputs or even 2 years of inputs can really do. So like, what's, one thing that you do now that beginners should start doing right away? One thing that's like in your routine, or one thing that you do with shop now that you wish you could have told yourself back then. Should have done it earlier. Yeah. I think that's what you told me.
But
Yeah. Yep.
for the everyday mentality uh, that I switched to now, is just keep going. Don't worry about the sales because that can really mess you up to not perform well.
Yeah, no, and I think that's where a lot of affiliates mess up. We have people all the time that come to us. They're like, "Hey, my sales are down." We look; they've only been doing shop for 2 weeks. And we're like, "Hey, look, like you have to look at everything. Like you said, 90 days for the systems to really kick in. But once they start to kick in, they don't really fall off. As long as you keep the consistency and the momentum up, you're pretty much 99% of the time you're not going to fall off. As long as you keep with the product selection, keep promoting the products, keep up with the scripts, keep up with the styles. It's very, very easy after those first 90 days to kind of keep the ball rolling once you get it rolling. An object that stays in motion, it's going to keep on, moving and stay in motion. So that's what we're really big on here is just consistency, inputs, inputs, inputs. Don't look at the results. Like I said, 10 minutes ago, just check the results, once a month, once every 2 months. Just make sure that the money still makes sense, obviously. And then you really should just be checking your earnings to see, like what you said, your winning products, the middle products, and then your lower products, kind of figure out what to double down on, what to test, what to A and B test, what scripts are working, what scripts are not working. I think that is just, absolutely key. And then obviously, how has your life changed since, you've kind of gone all in on TikTok Shop?
A lot better.
A lot better?
Doing what I like.
Yeah.
So not really wasting my time working a job that, I didn't feel like I was probably made for.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I'm a lot healthier too. I was able to lose down like 15 pounds so far.
Congrats.
Because I actually have time to cook my food and work out and cardio. So I'm healthier, liking life better. And yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's 100% what we like to see. And, obviously TikTok Shop can really free up your time, free up your money, free up your entire schedule, make you financially free like you are, in a sense where you don't have to clock into a job, where you can work from home when you want, where you want, be your own boss. And it's fun. You're making videos all day. You're doing stuff that you like. It's fun. It keeps you entertained as well. There's always new things to test, new things to do. And yeah, I think that's the absolute beauty of it. So, obviously if you had to start from $0 today, or if you lost everything today, do you think you could rebuild within 90 days?
You think I can?
Yeah. Do you think you could? Do you think you could rebuild within 90 days? If you had to start from zero, you have $500, you can buy the account. Do you think in 90 days you could build back up?
Yep.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
100%. Yep, exactly. Once you have those systems, I believe the exact same thing. Obviously I've been there where, I've been in those positions where I've lost all my accounts. Happened to me back in May, got a couple of them back, got back on my feet, bought 2 more accounts and got the ball rolling again. So I really think, once you have the systems, the products, and you pretty much have the skill behind it, it becomes super easy where, you have that skill for life and you can kind of just, get right back into it. Because once you have the consistency down, the inputs down, and you have the right systems in place, it's pretty much a no-brainer and very, very easy to do. But yeah, what would you tell somebody, that's, thinking about quitting TikTok Shop and is kind of on the borderline and they're just watching this right now and they're one day away from quitting, but they're watching this video right now and they just need one reason to keep going. What would you tell them?
I think the most important thing that anyone should know is momentum. If you draw back even one day, like you can lose an opportunity.
Yep.
Your eye has to be literally on focusing on the opportunity, because the opportunity can make you really financially free, So probably don't quit at all, because there's probably a higher chance you'll be successful by not quitting the next day. So you just never know.
Yeah. And like I said earlier, and like you've said, throwing darts at a board, like it just really is a game of inputs and a game of at bats, and really just really trying to keep on going and just showing up regardless of how you feel, whether you're sick, tired, depressed, sad, happy. If you're in the best mood ever, it doesn't matter. You just show up with the same exact mindset every single day. And like from the bottom of my heart, I'm sure your heart too. We always say like it's always worth it in the end. You just have to show up and you have to keep that consistency up. But yeah, guys, this is Imri, 500,000, $500,000 in GMV. Since starting TikTok Shop, all bottom of funnel, middle of funnel content. It's always a pleasure, bro. And yeah, guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Follow us on TikTok. We have the VIP waitlist form down there as well for Creator Haven.